Hi everyone, and welcome to the Gemini Weekly Illumination Reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren. Hi and welcome. So this is a weekly reading I complete for each sign each week, where we engage ourselves with the Triad of Engagement, which is utilizing the three core principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and demonstrate how when we use these three core principles together, we can bring awareness to our unique internal authentic self and what part of ourselves needs to then be brought forward to engage with our external environment, life, to fulfill our spiritual purpose. And this is in an effort to engage us actively with life as the singular individual that we are, so that we can feel a sense of emotional fulfillment stemming from us realizing our spiritual potential in the external environment. All right, so Gemini, what we're going to do is we're going to pull a card for each principle, and then we're going to discuss how you can utilize these throughout the week to bring awareness to some aspect of your authentic self that Spirit is asking you to become aware of right now. So we're going to start with a card of advice that we are going to build a question around, because we are engaging with the principle of curiosity. And curiosity is asking us to step into that magical place of seeing the world as well as ourselves with a sense of awe and wonder at what we don't know about ourselves or our external environment, what we're going to discover this week. So let's see, what does Gemini need to know about themselves and how it's going to connect to their spiritual purpose? What part of themselves does Gemini need to connect with so that they can better connect with their external environment? All right. Oh, you got two cards, Gemini. Okay, so we have Dream Talk and Stay Connected, both harnessing the color blue, which is interesting. So the blue focuses on the throat chakra. It also focuses on the third eye chakra. So there's a quality here of kind of finding your voice, but through that connection to spirit. So let's see here. So for Dream Talk, it says your subconscious constantly and subtly speaks through your dreams. It's just one of the many ways in which your soul and those here in the spirit world can reach out and communicate with you through signs, symbols, messages, and more. And then we have Stay Connected. We are all born connected to spirit, often known as the divine source. Yet many of us have a tendency to pull away from that connection as we journey through life in the physical world. Now is an important time to reconnect to that source. Two beautiful cards that actually really go hand in hand together. When you think about it, both are bringing in this element of spirit wanting to connect with you. One is actively through your dreams, and the other is to remind you that spirit is always there with you and around you and there to support you. So there's this quality this week, Gemini, that you're being asked to be reminded of that connection. You're being asked to remember that we are all part of the greater collective experience, meaning we are all tied together, but we are also all tied together to spirit. So we are all singular, unique individuals, and yet we can share a collective experience because we are all part of one source, and that is spirit. And what you're being reminded of is your direct connection to that you have almost like you can pick up the telephone or send a text and spirit will answer back, but we have to be receptive. So what I'm feeling, we're going to build a question around the energies of these cards right now to take what is a very general reading and make it individualized for you, because this is going to be a question you're going to ask yourself and keep in mind throughout the week so that you are bringing awareness to this aspect of your experience. And as you're asking yourself this question, hopefully by the end of the week you have an answer, and that answer is going to be unique to you because you're the one answering it. So the question that I would build out this week and to bring awareness to is your connection to spirit, and where have you lost that connection? So, meaning, perhaps there was a time, Gemini, where you built in a practice for yourself. Now, this could look like, for some of you guys who are kind of more in line with myself, where I build in meditation time. I have other ways of finding that connection, whether it is through journaling, whether it's through meditation specifically, whether it's working out and letting my mind wander and just having that kind of creative let spirit come in and tell us what is going to come in, that kind of thing, that kind of experience. Or it can be something where maybe you had a creative hobby or something along those lines where you maybe were connecting with other people, and in doing so you felt connected to spirit. This could even be you going to church or temple or another type of religious practice that you were actively engaged in. And really what I'm seeing here is asking yourself where you've kind of broken from that and where you need to get back in touch with spirit, because spirit's asking you to get in touch with them, because there is something here that this week, in building back in that practice, it's going to uncover some aspect of yourself that needs to be uncovered. Now, often for myself personally, I've found that I experience my connection to spirit through a great sense of beauty. That, again, when we're talking about curiosity and tapping into awe and wonder, well, for me, that connection to spirit is the awe and wonder about the beauty of life, and it's that experience of beauty. Now, for myself personally, beauty oftentimes brings me to tears, happy tears, this overwhelming sense of beautiful emotion. And I'd really like you guys to try to tap into that this week. You guys are an air sign, so there's a tendency to kind of stay away from the emotional core and kind of get stuck in the head. And I think this week it's about really making sure that you bring yourself back down into your emotional core to tap into what will bring you that sense of beauty. And this is a good week to do that, because astrologically speaking, we have Venus in Scorpio right now, which is a really deep dive. It's moving, it will move into, I believe, Sagittarius, which is kind of more of a fun, engaging, fiery, passionate energy. But we do have a lot of other, I would say, astrological placements that are really allowing us to tap into the Venus kind of quality of energy with Libra and Taurus in play. So there's this element of just feeling beauty, wanting to beautify your home, wanting to beautify yourself. So tap into that this week, but ask yourself again that question: where have you lost your connection to spirit through letting a spiritual practice go? And again, spiritual practice does not have to be religious based. It doesn't have to be meditation based. It can literally be something that just made you feel connected, that made you feel connected to something beyond yourself. Again, this could be a hobby. This could be that you were just getting together with a certain group of people that made you feel this way. Or it could be that you had a creative project where you would be able to sit and kind of just let yourself expand and allow spirit in. So anything that would allow yourself to really just kind of open yourself up to the beauty and mystery of life. Where have you taken that out of your weekly practice, and where can you build that back in? Because what Spirit's asking you to do is whatever aspect you have kind of let fall apart or fall to the wayside, is asking you to bring that back in and focus on that. And that is where you're going to have some aha moment about yourself this week. All right, now for the concept of courage, we are going to pull a energy oracle card here. And now courage is where we get a chance to, where with curiosity we're tapping into awe and wonder and opening ourselves up to the what and the why and the if and the how. And now with courage, we are bringing ourselves back to our place of personal empowerment. This is where we get a chance to have the courage to take conscious action. And what does conscious action mean? Conscious action means that we are aware of every action and every decision that we choose to make. And I know that sounds difficult, and it also sounds maybe counterintuitive. You're like, well, I'm making actions, I'm taking action every day, and I'm making decisions. How can that not be conscious? Well, oftentimes we can go through an entire day and not remember really what we did. Or sometimes, like what I experienced myself personally, we can go through 10 years and look back and not really remember what you did, or even how you got to where you are. And that's where I like to come in to help people, because I experienced that myself, this intense disconnection from your everyday experience to the point where you're kind of just constantly looking towards the future, looking towards the next weekend, looking towards the next vacation, looking towards when I do this. And you're not living in the present moment, meaning that you're not conscious of every little action that you're taking, and so you're not bringing yourself in to your present experience. And I call that you're not living yourself into life. So there is this quality here with courage that we get that chance to become connected again, to become aware of all those little decisions that we make, and to have the courage to act on our own behalf. What feels good for us? What is within our best interest? And sometimes that's not easy in the way that maybe it's something that goes against what somebody else wants, or which oftentimes is the case. But even more so, sometimes it's not even easy for us to make the better decision for ourselves because it will take up more of our time. This would be the difference between, swinging by a fast food place on the way home and grabbing a greasy burger instead of going home and taking the time to cook something for yourself. Now, on one hand, you get the gift of time, but on the other hand, you get food that maybe isn't going to help your healthy eating wish or your diet and fitness goals. And so there's this quality of being able to, every time we want to take an action or make a decision, to bring it back to ourselves to say, okay, what's really within my best interest? And where, even if it is the tougher decision, or it seems to be, I'm gonna have the courage to make it, because this is where we get to change and really manifest ourselves into our everyday experience, because we are doing things that allow us to bloom, to blossom into our life. Okay, so this is also a good chance to take control. So I like to always really stress, we can't control our external environment, and we cannot control the people in our external environment. That is the seat of destiny. Courage, we bring ourselves back to our seat of free will, where we get to choose how we react to and engage with what happens in our external environment. So for you guys, we have contract number 6. So when we're thinking about courage this week, what I like here is that this is a card that really harnesses the energy of Libra. Libra in the tarot brings its energy into the Justice card, and the Justice card is exactly this. It's Blind Lady Justice holding the scales of balance. So there's this element here with contract in the concept of balance with the number 6, which is bringing us into the home. It's bringing us into working together with others on it for a spiritual purpose. That's really where the number 6 kind of comes in, and it also harnesses the element of beauty. So there really is this quality, Gemini, this week about tapping into what makes you feel that sense of almost overwhelming emotion with regards to something beautiful. And what does this look like? This could look like you remembering what it felt like to be at a beloved friend's wedding, and that feeling of of crying with great joy for something, or the first time you went on a spiritual retreat with your church or with a school trip or something like that, and you gazing out into a, beautiful, maybe you traveled someplace to, retreat, you went to a retreat and you were in a beautiful location and you got a chance to sit and look at a beautiful sunset or something like that. And it's really about where you feel moved kind of beyond your ability to express that sense of beauty. You just feel it. And with contract coming in, what I'm looking at here, what I'm actually getting intuitively, is your contract with spirit. That there's this element here that you've kind of gotten off track. And because you have been a little disconnected, and this can happen, we get busy. We get busy and we throw aside we start to cut out things that we feel are not meaningful uses of our time. And often that is our spiritual practice goes away first, or the hobby that brings us that sense of connection, or that creative project that allows us to just expand our mind. Even that can be us exercising, going for a run, or going on the treadmill and allowing our mind to just wander, because we feel like there's other things that we could do that are more productive in that time. And in reality, yes, we need to be aware of what we're doing physically, and we need to get certain tasks done, and we do have to go to our jobs to earn a living. But there is this element too that we also need to be aware of our spiritual and our emotional experience, as well as our physical and our mental. So there is this element here for you guys of building that back in and remembering the importance of that, because what I'm seeing here is that there is a contract. Spirit wants to remind you of that. There's a contract here. There is some spiritual purpose that you are meant to fulfill. You are a puzzle piece in the greater connective all that is life. And you, I think, have been a little imbalanced. And it's now about kind of the karmic scales coming into balance and you stepping up, taking personal responsibility to step up and into your spiritual purpose. And that, I feel, is really, but you're going to engage with that through engaging with beauty again. And I don't know why that's coming through so strongly, but the numerology supports that. There's this quality again with bringing Libra into the picture, and Libra is a sign ruled by Venus. Again, really tapped into beauty and awe and wonder of life. So there is this element of the karmic scales coming into balance. So it's almost like you're being called up now. You're being told, okay, you were allowed to kind of drift and do your thing, but now it's time to step up and fulfill your spiritual responsibility. So kind of it's an understated but very powerful message, and it's going to be a nice one for you to experience this week, because who doesn't want to experience beauty? Who doesn't want to experience time for themselves to connect to the mysteries of life? Okay, now we're going to pull a final card for the principle of contemplation. And so we move from awe and wonder with curiosity to having the courage to take conscious action. And now we are going to move into active reflection with contemplation. And why is that important? Because we are here to actively reflect. As we take action, we are also actively reflecting then on the consequences of that action. And this is where we get to engage with continual self-learning, self-education through direct experience and engagement with life. And this is a beautiful way for us to really ensure that we don't get stuck or stagnant, because we are constantly engaged and aware of when we do take action, what happens, and we hold ourselves personally responsible for that consequence or that reaction, and then we can learn from that. Do I continue to take similar actions because it got a beneficial response? Or if not, how do I go back to my seat of personal empowerment, which is me, to change my actions, to change the outcome in my external environment, to change the consequence. All right, so we have Council of Light. And it says divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. This is a really, I think, perfect card to wrap up this reading. That there is this element here that's coming through very strongly. That spirit wants to come down. And this is telling me here with active reflection. How can you step, as you're moving through this week and you're thinking about having the courage to re-engage with spirit, having the courage to build back in that time for a meditative practice or a spiritual practice, a hobby, a creative outlet, even working out. And then where can we reflect as we're doing that on our belief that there is divine orchestration, that there is something greater out there for us to fulfill, that we have that purpose. And where perhaps have you, as you're reflecting, maybe lost a little faith in that or lost touch with that. We can all go through periods where we don't feel our purpose, we don't see it. And I like when some people say, or I find it interesting when some people say, like, am I on my path? I need to get off this path and onto another. In reality, we're never off our path. We have only one path to walk, and that is ours. But it's how far down that path we want to walk and how willing we are to cut through obstacles that come in that way of that path for us to continue on down the line, and for us to also not allow a bend in the path that we can't see around and fear of that unknown to stop us from continuing forward. And so there's this element here of this week of remembering you are on your path and that you have the power within yourself to continue down it, to grow and expand and evolve the further down you walk. It's almost like when we think of Wizard of Oz and Dorothy and her friends, and they're going down the yellow brick road. And as they continue to go, they continue to gain experiences that open themselves up to the final realization when they get to the land of Oz. And the realization is that, well, you've always had that within you. But we have to realize that physically as we engage, as we walk down our path, to come to that final realization of that was my purpose. This was my full potential, and I had a chance to realize it. And it's a lifelong journey. This isn't, oh, I'm going to find my spiritual purpose and that's it. And I don't need to go anymore or push anymore, or I'll never experience challenge. This is, no, you have to get down. That's why it takes courage. It takes courage to engage with life. It takes courage to have the free will to engage with change. But you're being asked to do that. This is that week to realize and remember again that you were born with a potential. You were born with a spiritual purpose. And Spirit is asking you to remember that, to build back in whatever brings you that sense of connection to the beyond and that sense of beauty and awe and wonder with both yourself and life. And that's going to be that key to unlocking the next steps down your path towards experiencing your spiritual purpose. All right. I hope you have enjoyed this. That was a really beautiful reading, Gemini. Love it. If you would like to book a personal reading or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. Likes and subscribes are obviously appreciated and really make my day. Even the smallest comment can make a huge difference for me. I really, really appreciate it. But I also appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, as it means the world to me that I have this outlet to be able to express part of what I feel is my spiritual purpose. All right. Have a great rest of the week, Gemini. Bye.